rag you've got. Clothe her from stem to rudder post." "Aye, aye, sir." In about a second I begun to see I'd woke up a pretty ugly customer, Peters. In less than 10 seconds that comet was just a blazing cloud of red-hot canvas. It was piled up to the heavens, clean out of sight. The old thing seemed to swell out and occupy all space. The sulfur smoke from the furnaces, oh, well, nobody can describe the way it rolled and tumbled up into the skies, and nobody can half describe the way it smelt. Neither can anybody begin to describe the way that monstrous craft begun to crash along. And such another powwow, thousands of bosun's whistles screaming at once, and a crew like the populations of 100,000 worlds like ours, all swearing at once. Well, I never heard the like of it before. We roared and thundered along side by side, both doing our level best, because I'd never struck a comet before that could lay over me, and so I was bound to beat this one or break something. I judged I had some reputation in space, and I calculated to keep it. I noticed I wasn't gaining as fast now as I was before, but still I was gaining. There was a power of excitement on board the comet. Upwards of 100 billion passengers swarmed up from below and rushed to the side and begun to bet on the race. Of course, this careened her and damaged her speed. My, but wasn't the mate mad! He jumped at that crowd with his trumpet in his hand and sung out, amidships, you, or I'll brain the last idiot of you." Well, sir, I gained and gained, little by little, till at last I went skimming sweetly by the magnificent old conflagration's nose. By this time the captain of the comet had been rousted out, and he stood there in the red glare forward by his mate, in his shirt-sleeves and slippers, his hair all rat's nests, and one suspender hanging. And how sick those two men did look! I just simply couldn't help putting my thumb to my nose as I glided away, and singing out, "Ta-ta, ta-ta, any word to send to your family?" Peters, it was a mistake. Yes, sir, I've often regretted that. It was a mistake. You see, the captain had given up the race, but that remark was too tedious for him. He couldn't stand it. He turned to the mate, and says he, "Have we got brimstone enough of our own to make the trip?" "Yes, sir." "Sure?" "Yes, sir, more than enough." "How much have we got in cargo for Satan?" 1,800,000 billion quintillions of Kazarks." "Very well, then. Let his borders freeze till the next comet comes. Lighten ship. Lively now, lively, men. Heave the whole cargo overboard. Peters, look me in the eye and be calm. I found out over there that a Kazark is exactly the bulk of 169 worlds like ours. They hove all that load overboard. When it fell, it wiped out a considerable raft of stars just as clean as if they'd been candles and somebody blowed them out. As for the race, that was at an end. The minute she was lightened, the comet swung along by me the same as if I was anchored. The captain stood on the stern by the after davits and put his thumb to his nose and sung out, "Ta-ta, ta-ta. Maybe you've got some message to send to your friends in the everlasting tropics." Then he hove up his other suspender and started forward, and inside of 3/4 of an hour his craft was only a pale torch again in the distance. Yes, it was a mistake, Peters, that remark of mine. I don't reckon I'll ever get over being sorry about it. I'd 'a' beat the bully of the firmament if I'd kept my mouth shut. But I've wandered a little off the track of my tale. I'll get back on my course again. Now you see what kind of speed I was making. So, as I said, when I had been tearing along this way about 30 years, I begun to get uneasy. Oh, it was pleasant enough, with a good deal to find out, but then it was kind of lonesome, you know. Besides, I wanted to get somewhere. I hadn't shipped with the idea of cruising forever. First off, I liked the delay because I judged I was going to fetch up in pretty warm quarters once I got through. But towards the last I begun to feel that I'd rather go to, well, most any place so as to finish up the uncertainty. Well, one night, it was always night except when I was rushing by some star that was occupying the whole universe with its fire and its glare. Light enough then, of course, but I necessarily left it behind in a minute or two and plunged into a solid week of darkness again. The stars ain't so close together as they look to be. Where was I?